right, so bands are a perfect way to get most stability training, right? They provide tension that you have to decelerate, that you can control, you can stabilize. You know, here in the Tampa area, we hear a lot about Tom Brady excelling with the Buccaneers at age 45, and he does the TB12 method. Shocker, he does most stability stuff. He uses bands. He does things that promote mobility and stability, and bands are one of the perfect things for that. These little ankle bands are a perfect way to get started. Really good for runners, really for anybody. Most of us have the ability, like our knees are knocking, especially women. We have what's called a negative Q angle and it comes in. So from here, we're gonna get these bands around our ankles. The emphasis is gonna be on the toes facing forward, and you're gonna step as wide as you can. So keeping the tension on the band and just stepping out nice and wide. What this is gonna do, it's gonna work up that glute medius, or the technical term that I like to call it, your side butt. And you want to do just enough to wake these muscles up, but not necessarily fatigue them. You'll see a lot of stuff on Instagram, and the booty girls do all these exercises with it, and they're trying to hypertrophy or really build a lot of strength and endurance in these little muscles. They're kind of little support muscles. It doesn't make a lot of sense to do sets on sets on sets. We just want to wake these muscles up because it's easy for them to get inhibited. So this one's often called a monster walk because you look like Frankenstein. Okay, I just like to spend about 60 seconds on here, depending on the tension of the band. A lot of times on Amazon or somewhere, you can find a little band pack that will have a bunch of different tensions on there. So that's number one, fast and loose, shake it off in between. Next one, we're gonna go laterally. This one, we're gonna get into more of an athletic stance. Again, I'm gonna make sure my knees are pointing out. And now I'm gonna move laterally, making sure to keep my hips on that same plane. So I'm moving side to side, feet are staying outside of my hips, emphasis on the toes staying forward, and man, those things are already starting to talk to me a little bit. So you can just kind of go back and forth. We're doing about 5 each way. And I can tell I'm getting to that point where they're starting to get a little fatigued. And again, my idea is not to fatigue them or burn them out, it's just to wake them up. All right, that's enough of those as well. From here, I'm gonna bring this band up over my knees. They also make cool kind of like fabric bands that work really well for that. That's what you see a lot of the Instagram booty girls doing. Here again, your toes can be externally rotated or turned a little bit out to the side, but I wanna get that kind of good squat position where my knees are driving out towards my pinky toes. Now I'm gonna do what I call the Tootsie Roll. Both knees coming in, feet staying planted, then can they drive out? Can I get a little bit lower? Okay, everybody needs to squat. Everybody. It's one of the most important things for your longevity. And people stop, oh, my knees hurt. Deep squats are gonna hurt my knees. That's just wrong. And if a doctor told you that, it's wrong. Knees get hurt from overuse and from improper joint stacking. This is gonna help those glutes do their job to help extend that hip and that knee so that there's not that tension on your joints. Again, this Tootsie Roll, it ain't the butterfly that's, oh, let me see your Tootsie Roll to the left. Anyways, sorry, I digress. 90s hip hop guy over here. Okay, I'm doing about 10 of those. Again, shaking them out. So that's what we call the Tootsie Roll. Feet stay flat, in and out. Again, you can feel that in that same spot, and that's working that internal and external rotation. Stuff that triathletes kind of forget about. We're gonna come back into this position, and now we're gonna do what I call the stanky leg. This knee's gonna internally rotate all the way in, and this one's gonna stay nice and tall. You're gonna drive that knee back out. Bring it in, bring it back out. In, out. I like to over exaggerate it and bring my arms up. Big chest. And this side is actually really burning because it's fighting to stay still. Your hips work together as a loop. Again, magic number here is about 10. It's close enough to 10 for me. I can get counting like my clients do right there. Readjust, come back into that half squat position. Now that left side, internally rotate, drive out, reestablish that squat. Always connecting movement to breath. So I'm doing this today in advance of a run. So I really want to make sure that my glutes are warmed up. And so it's easier on my knees. It's easier on my ankles. And this is one of those, we talk a lot about the drip mentality. Doing this a couple times a week, either if it's a warm up or just your maintenance or recovery day, could help you out. That's just one set. That's enough to wake everything up. If we're working on building strength, we might go through a couple other times where there's some other varieties, okay? Second part of Bandamonium is I've got one of these braided bands. I really like the braided bands because A, they last longer. If you can see this one is gnarly. It's lasted forever. It's lived in my car. It's still there. Some of those other bands I've seen break. This one we're gonna grab to the point where I can get a little bit of tension so that I can pull it apart. And I'm gonna come all the way up and over. Can I do that without my shoulders hiking up, without my hips trying to go? So it's an idea of truly maintaining your posture and coming up and over. Okay, I got a little used to that. I can grab a little more tension. So I'm gonna grab it closer. I'm gonna pull it back apart. Again, starting at my hips, standing tall, no movement. This part right here is where everybody challenges and they wanna compensate and they wanna cheat. So can I use that exhale where it's hard? Can I slow down where it's hard? I wanna embrace through that challenging part instead of going. Some of my clients go like this. Okay, that's not really doing anything because there's not much tension behind it. Struggling with the band today. So all the way up and over, breathing through, fighting through right there. All the way back up and over again. This time we're gonna hold back here in the sticking point and we're gonna work on the breath. Take the head to the right. Take the head to the left. And back to neutral. Shake that head yes a couple times. And it's amazing how tight our neck, our traps, everything are. In this chest position, we can truly move through that neck and move through that breath. All right, I've had about enough of that. Okay, all that tension can make your arms feel a little weird. Let's work a couple shoulder rolls for a second. Just that idea, can I keep my posture, round all the way forward? How far can I reach out in front of me? And then I'm gonna pull them back. Depress, reach, depress, reach, bring back. Now we're gonna turn that into a circle. So can I reach to the bottom end of the box? Raise it to the top of the box without my neck coming too compressed. Roll them all the way back to the top component of the box, down to the bottom part of the box, and then make it buttery, make it saucy. Just gonna do 5 of these each way, a little active rest. We really warm up, get those hips going, and those shoulders going. So this works as a good warm up for any of the multi-sport things or as active recovery. And that's what it's all about. Drip, drip, drip. These little 15-minute workouts can be the difference in your performance. Can be the difference in you getting hurt. I remind everybody, the job of performance enhancement is actually to decrease the chance of injury. That's what this exercise is about. It's not about beating you up or doing more, more, more. It's making sure that we're oiling those joints. Just moving through and getting that synovial fluid in, all this blood going back through your body. That's how you recover. That's how you keep those healthy joints. So if you're sore, if you don't want to warm up, you don't have the time, super valuable. Okay, we always want to move in 3 planes as well too. So adding in rotation is huge. I'm gonna grab this band back again, enough that I can set it. It's not a walk in the park, but it's not somewhere I can keep my posture. Now I'm gonna rotate to my right as far as I can. Raise that left rib cage. Keep a little bit of back bend energy. Eyes can look to the ground. Eyes can look back up. Eyes back to neutral. Come back. We're gonna bring it all the way down to our waist again. Getting that opportunity to depress, to relax, to shake the tension out of the neck. Come all the way back, straight over the head, working on that overhead position. Swimmers, your overhead mobility is not that good. I trained some of y'all. Okay, and right here is interesting. I can feel how tight I am in this sling. Paddleboarding gets me all jacked up in this hip and that oblique. I have a dominant side. I have a favorite side. This helps me do that reconnaissance to go, ooh, my left hip and left oblique is a little off. Roll through the head, make it your own. You also notice this thoracic spine stuff is great for undoing sitting. So if you're going on a road trip or something, I always bring a band in my bag when I travel. Again, that idea of little bits of movement, because I hate stretching. I hate stretching as much as anybody, but I love moving. This is moving that does what people perceive stretching to do. We're working on our overhead flexibility. We're working on our trunk rotation. We're working on our posture. We're either preparing for exercise or we're undoing it. Stop labeling it and do what makes you feel good. Oh my goodness. Feels super amazing. Great job. Last one with this band is we're gonna grab it again to that point where it's not challenging too much, and we're gonna pull it apart. Can I get that guy all the way to my chest to about that nipple line and then decelerate it back in, right? The tension on a band gets harder as it gets farther away. Okay, am I still rolled in here into my neck and my traps? That's not gonna do anything for you. You wanna depress them like we practice and then come back. That's passively gonna stretch your chest, why it strengthens a lot of those posterior delt and posterior shoulder muscles. Again, the emphasis is on posture, staying as tall as you can. That spine is like a flagpole cemented deep into the ground, and I'm pulling back against it, against my posture. Glutes are squeezed forward. Neck is relaxed and soft. Breath is right here. And I can feel those muscles starting to burn. I have a really great habit of saying last one and then having one more. That's kind of a personal trainer thing, right? We always want to say two more. So when I say it's the last one, there's probably two more. This one, we're going to go behind the back. And behind the back, you can grab your hands so that they're either facing in or they're facing out. Today, I'm going to choose this out one just because it's a little bit of a different grip. And from here, just pull it off of your butt, keep your posture, and go as tall as you can. Again, are those traps trying to hike up? And what's the right amount of tension? It shouldn't be straining. It's, can I keep it buttery? How high can I bring it off my butt? And do I need to adjust the tension? Can I go a little bit harder? A little bit farther? And just, we're stretching the chest and the shoulders from a couple of different angles. We want strength from every angle. Coral does a lot of sharing Venus fits stuff, and that's her little tagline, is strength at every angle. Couldn't agree with it more. So now we've established a little warm up. We're gonna do that hinge. So knees pushing out, big toe mountain down, hinge forward. And then how far can you bring those arms up and over your head? Use your breath. You can make it active and kind of work through that range with that hinge because you can kind of pull against it. Remember, a lot of this stuff is making your body feel safe. So do you go just kind of to the edge of that comfort zone and then come back. Whew. All right, little bandamonium, little bands to make your dance. Enjoy, babes.